Two nations bound by geography, culture, and history. But what if that shared history took a dark turn? What if Kenya and Uganda, East Africa's closest neighbors, found themselves at war, with armies ready to mobilize, economies on the line, and over 100 million lives at stake? Who would have the upper hand? Kenya with its massive economy and strategic alliances, or Uganda with its well-trained forces and resilient strategy? This is a clash that neither nation can afford, but it's a question we can't help but ask. What would happen if Kenya and Uganda went to war? And, most importantly, who would emerge victorious? Stay tuned, because the answers might just surprise you. To understand the stakes, we first need to set the stage. Kenya and Uganda are not strangers. They share a long and intertwined history. Both gained independence from colonial rule in the 1960s, and since then, their relationship has mostly been peaceful. Mostly, but tensions have flared in the past. Take Migingo Island, for example, a tiny rock in Lake Victoria claimed by both nations. This uninhabitable patch of land sparked a heated territorial standoff in 2009. Why? Well, Migingo is surrounded by some of the richest fishing waters in East Africa, and neither country wants to lose access. Neither side fired shots back then. But what if future disputes escalated?
For us to bring to an end unnecessary suspicions on the part of some of our peoples was to undertake joint patrols and other joint missions, both on the islands in that area and on the waters.
Would like to really bring to an end this problem of these tensions. A lot of times exaggerated. Migingo Island.
Kenya, stretching from the shores of the Indian Ocean to the Great Rift Valley, is a strategic powerhouse. Its natural landscapes range from vast savannas to highlands. These features, especially the mountain ranges, could provide solid defensive positions. Uganda, on the other hand, is the pearl of Africa. Though landlocked, its natural topography offers unique advantages. The dense forests and rolling hills are trickier for armies to cross and have historically slowed down invading forces. Both nations have terrain on their side, but geography alone doesn't win a war. What about their militaries? Here's where things get intense. Kenya's military is one of the strongest in East Africa. The Kenya Defense Forces, KDF, are well equipped thanks to significant funding and international training partnerships. For comparison, Kenya spends over $1 billion annually on its military. Meanwhile, Uganda allocates just under $900 million. But here's the thing, money isn't everything. Uganda's People's Defense Force, UPDF, is known for its toughness and discipline, with a history steeped in real combat experience. Kenya has around 24,000 active troops compared to Uganda's 45,000. At first, Uganda seems to have the upper hand, but Kenya compensates with advanced weaponry and growing air power. And air power could be a game changer. Uganda has only a few fighter jets, while Kenya has heavily invested in modern aircraft. Kenya also boasts of having military drones. These aren't just high-tech toys. They're game changers on the modern battlefield. With drones, Kenya could locate enemy forces, conduct precision strikes, and disrupt enemy logistics, creating absolute chaos for Uganda's troops. Then there's the armored firepower. Kenya has 76 Vickers Mark III tanks, armored reconnaissance vehicles, and personnel carriers. This combination gives Kenyan ground units the ability to push through defenses, transport troops under protection, and dominate flat terrain. You want firepower? Kenya's got it. With 56 105mm guns and 12 155mm howitzers, plus a stockpile of mortars, recoilless rifles, and advanced anti-tank weapons, Kenya boasts a formidable arsenal. Artillery like the L-118 light gun and the Serbian-designed Nora B-52 provide long-range precision to pound enemy positions. And in terms of defensive game plans, Kenya's tanks and artillery are well suited for large-scale battles on open ground, a definite advantage in regions like the Rift Valley or Savannah Plains. But Uganda is not coming to this fight unprepared. Their military might lean on mobility and versatility in rugged terrain. Uganda operates a substantial fleet of mine-resistant ambush-protected vehicles. These MRAPs, like the Bafo, Mamba, and Niati, are built to withstand mines and roadside explosives, making them critical for jungle or urban warfare. What about the battlefield itself? Kenya and Uganda's shared geography could shift the tide of war. Kenya's Rift Valley offers wide open spaces ideal for tanks, drones, and long-range guns to thrive. On the other hand, Uganda's dense forest and mountainous areas would favor ambush tactics, guerrilla warfare, and MRAPs designed for rough terrain. While Kenya might dominate the plains, Uganda's adaptable units could exploit the forested zones to strike quickly and retreat into cover. It's a cat and mouse game, with each country looking to force the other out of its comfort zone. Big battles aren't won by brute force alone. It comes down to tactics and planning. Kenya's military is highly professionalized and bolstered by partnerships with Western powers, like the United States and the UK. These relationships provide access to advanced technology and elite tactical training, giving Kenya an edge in coordinated offensives. However, Uganda's command has extensive experience in unconventional warfare. Having faced rebel groups like the Lord's Resistance Army for decades, Uganda's forces are skilled in counterinsurgency and asymmetrical warfare. Translating that into a full-scale war, Uganda might focus on using its self-propelled artillery and airstrikes to cut off Kenyan supply chains, forcing a battle of attrition. Wars aren't just fought on the battlefield, they're also battles of resources. Here, Kenya would have the upper hand. Its diversified economy outpaces Uganda's by billions of dollars. Kenya also has access to Mombasa, one of East Africa's largest ports, making trade and resupply much easier. But Uganda isn't without tricks up its sleeve. Its oil reserves in the Albertine Graben are valuable assets. If tapped into effectively, these resources could sustain a long-term conflict. Therefore, even with fewer funds, Uganda has ways to prolong the fight. So who would win this fierce battle? Here's the verdict. If questions like these isn't about rooting for one side or another. It's about learning from history and preparing for the future. If you like this video, check out what would happen if Kenya and Nigeria went to war and who would win. Remember, if you don't subscribe, you risk getting hit by a car. Let's meet on the next video.